So in this particular video, data conversion transformation, I will talk about the data conversion transformation. So the agenda of today's video will be what is the data conversion transformation and then how to use the data conversion transformation. So basically the data conversion transformation is a component that can be used to convert the data type of a column. For example, we can convert the data type of a column from varchar to nvarchar or vice versa. So in this video tutorial, I will be loading the data from an Excel file to a SQL Server table and then we'll convert the data type from nvarchar to varchar on the fly. If you are loading data from an Excel file to a SQL Server table, and you know the Excel file by default supports the nvarchar data type, or you can say Unicode data type. So if you are loading data from Excel to a SQL Server table and the SQL Server table has varchar data type, like in this particular case, so then you need to convert the data type from nvarchar to varchar so that it can be loaded to a SQL Server table. So this thing you can do using the data conversion transformation. So let's see how we can use the data conversion transformation. So this is my business intelligence development studio, and let's just drag and drop the data flow task. So we will be using this particular file person.xls, which has some data in it. So by default the Excel supports the Unicode, however the SQL Server table has non-Unicode data as of now. Varchar is equivalent to non-Unicode, however nvarchar is equivalent to Unicode. We have a data mismatch between the Excel and the SQL Server source. So we have two options: either we can change the data type of this particular table to nvarchar and can load the data directly. However, sometimes it is not permitted to change the data type of the SQL Server table. So in those cases we can use the data conversion task. Let's go back to the BIDS and double click data flow task to modify it. As we are loading data from an Excel file, so let's take the Excel source and make a connection to the Excel file. The file your person.xls, okay. Now choose the Excel sheet name from here and then go to the columns. So these are the columns that is going to be loaded. Click OK, and now we need to load data to a SQL Server table. So we have used the OLEDB destination. Make a connection to the Amazon testing database, and from data access mode change it to table or view fast load so that it can load the data using bulk insert. And from the tables or view, let's choose the test data table. So if you go to the mapping, so all columns from source have been mapped with the destination columns. Click OK. However, you can see that there is a red symbol here and it's saying that column first name cannot convert between Unicode and non-Unicode string data type. So it's saying that you need to change the data type of these columns. For example, the ID is integer, so it can take it. However, for rest of the columns, first name, last name, Gmail, we need to convert the data type. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, let's remove this connection and then go back to the SSIS toolbox, and we need to drag and drop the data conversion task. So this is the data conversion transformation. And now let's connect the Excel source with the data conversion transformation. Double click data conversion transformation, and now check all the columns that you want to convert. So the input column name is first name, and after the conversion the column name will be output alias the copy of first name. So after the conversion there will be two columns: the initial column first name and the column after the data type conversion. So by default it is Unicode string and we need to change it to string. So do the same thing for rest of the columns as well, change it to string. So we have done this, and now the data type will be string varchar, which can be easily taken by the SQL Server table. Click OK, and now map the data conversion with the OLEDB destination. Now double click the OLEDB destination, go to the mappings, and now for the first name we need to map the first name with a copy of first name. Similarly for last name we need to map with copy of last name, and do the same thing for rest of the columns as well. So click OK. Now you can see that the error has gone because we have changed the data type using the data conversion transformation. And if you go back to the SQL Server table and if you execute the query, so right now we don't have any data in the SQL Server table, and if you execute the SSIS package by clicking on start, then it should load data from Excel file to the SQL Server table. It's giving an error initially. So let's see what the issue is. So it's saying that class not registered if the 64-bit driver is not installed. 30. Okay, so what you need to do is go to the properties of the project, and then under the configuration properties, under the debugging, change run 64-bit runtime to false. Apply. Okay, now you can execute the SSIS package, because if you are loading data in Excel, then it needs to be run the into 32-bit system. So the package runs successfully, and it has loaded 1000 number of records from the Excel to the SQL Server table. You can check that by going to the SQL Server Management Studio and re-executing the query. So if you execute the query again, now you can see we have 1000 number of records. Those got loaded from the Excel file, and you can double check in the Excel file as well. We should have the 1000 number of records. Okay, so this is how we can use the data conversion transformation in SSIS. So now we have 1000 number of records. The first record has the header information, so that's why we have 1001 records. So thanks guys for watching the video, and if you like the video, then please click the like button and do subscribe to our channel to see more videos on SSIS and related technologies. Thank you so much.